Om Namah Shivaya. So I want to talk a little bit about Samyama. I know you've all been doing Samyama for some time, and you know the technical definition that it is the combination of dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, focus, meditation, and absorption. And that all is well and good. But as Patanjali also says, Samyama is to be applied to the stages of practice. In other words, Samyama, the experience of Samyama, evolves as your consciousness develops. And so I want to give a little vision of Samyama in a higher state, so you kind of know where you're moving towards. And then we'll talk about how to get there. So, as you know, Samyama, to be effective, has to be at a very fine level of thought, very fine level that is very powerful and concentrated, just skimming the surface of being, of pure consciousness. So at this point, this is the point where word meets form, and where consciousness meets Shakti, right at the finest level of creation that is within you. And of course, the greater your clarity at that level, the more effective the Samyama. And there's one other factor, and that is that very fine, powerful level of thought where consciousness and Shakti are one is also permeated by and in a theater of eternal, universal silence, the eternal self, Brahman. So that is the context for this experience of Samyama. And so that is where dharana and dhyan and samadhi are at their fullest value. And that is where Samyama is effective. So it's not just a faint level of thought. It's where we transcend into this cosmic value of our own awareness. And at that level of the cosmic value of our awareness, that eternally silent, universal self, and then the flow of attention right at that point where Shakti and consciousness are indistinguishable. They're merging, Shakti's merging into consciousness, right at that point. The other thing is, the cities, each individual city, directs prana in a certain way through the mind-body complex to create the result of the city. And the result of the city is just a signal that something is working the way it's supposed to work. Before that happens, you'll feel this prana being pushed into your system and creating a wholeness of awareness. So that wholeness of awareness is the first sign, even before the result, the predicted result of the sutra. You'll get this wholeness of awareness that is the result of prana being pressed into your system. And by the way, that level that I described earlier, so that is the experience of the field of all possibilities. Just silence, that's not really a field of all possibilities. Eternal, universal silence, where Shakti and consciousness are both at their fullest value, that is a field of all possibilities. Okay? So that's where we have to awaken to that level.